Power to Change, I think I leave today sort of buoyed and energetic. It feels like we are a movement, and we should be more confident that we are a movement, and we should start talking to people who aren't in the room. So we're having a really interesting discussion at the table in the back, and I think Victor mentioned it in the opening plenary, which I wasn't here for, but who are the 10 people who aren't in this room, who should be in this room, that we need to bring into this room? So we need to be confident in ourselves and start talking to others, because I think this is a room full of people who get it, who are brought in, and we need to extend that reach to others and do that quickly. A few other reflections. I think we are all doing really well at rhetoric around trusting people. We're all saying really good things about trusting people and giving power to communities and believing in their expertise, but I think most of our actions are probably falling somewhat short. So I'm really proud of Power to Change. We've set up a programme a few years ago called Empowering Places, where we've given £1 million to fantastic organisations like Sasha's and Dave's Able Ward Cooperative at the back. And that was a real sort of leap of faith. But we still, in most of our programmes, have grant criteria and lots of other things where we set the agenda and the funding works on our terms and not on the terms of the end organisation. I don't think we're alone in that. So I think there's more that we can look at. Everything that we need to do has to be longer term, and we're at Power to Change, we're really feeling that at the sharp end for us as an organisation. We were set up as a time-limited endowment. Our endowment finishes in 2022, and my reflection from having been there from day one is that if you want to do anything that's around social change, don't start unless you think you're in there for at least 15 years. We've been given 8 years, which on day one felt like ages. But the pace of change and working, particularly for working with communities who work at their pace, 8 years isn't nearly long enough, and 15 is only just really starting to deliver. So I think if we're going to start this stuff, let's think about starting and being in there for the long haul. I was also reflecting after sort of some of the conversations today on something that somebody told me in 2014 when we were just setting up Power to Change, and they described the experience of sort of social enterprises, community businesses, and using organisations that are doing stuff on the ground as being like constantly mixing their own cocktail. That you have to go from pillar to post to get all the different kinds of funding you need to keep going and to make it work. And I reflect on that now, 5 years later, 6 years later, and I think actually we haven't made that much difference to that. And that all of us as funders and public sector organisations need to put aside a little bit of our ego and a little bit of our priorities to make that cocktail mixing a bit easier. I think the dream of Power to Change when we first started was that we would do some of that mixing for the community businesses we were supporting, and the reality is that we haven't really done enough of that. And I think as funders we need, whether it's in place or for end user organisations individually, we need to get much better at mixing cocktails and not make it quite as hard as it often is at the end of the day. And then my final reflection is, I was talking to Jan about this earlier, that I still think in the work that we do with a lot of local authorities, we are still talking about, or they are still talking about consultation. Let's figure out what our plans are and then we'll consult with the community, and we really need to support them. And they are challenged by the lack of resources and the lack of people, but we really need to support them to turn that around, to be thinking about communities being at the table, being decision makers, sharing power, shaping the co-design and the co-development of policy. We've got to make some really big progress in that area for things to really change.